Now, celebrities have today signed an open letter asking Prince William to use his climate change awards, they're called the Earthshot Prize, to incentivise a plant-powered revolution by adding a special vegan category. Now, A-listers signing that letter include Olivia Colman, Sharon Osbourne, our very own, and Dame Emma Thompson. They've said the very preservation of the planet is at stake. Critics, however, warn that a rapid shift to plant-based foodstuffs could have devastating effects for the rural economy. So, should the future king give his royal approval to veganism, or is this something he should just stay clear of? Joining me to discuss all this, YouTube stars and best-selling vegan authors Henry Firth and Ian Theasby, also known as the BOSH boys, and from Wales, farmer Gareth Wyn Jones also joins us. Gareth, as you're sitting there very kindly for us this evening, thank you. I will start with you. Start off by telling us a little bit about what you farm.
Yeah, so we're a beef and sheep operation up on the Carnelli mountain range. My family's been on the same land for 375 years, producing food in a very sustainable, regenerative and ethical way.
Okay, so what do you make of this idea that the Prince of Wales is being sort of pressured to kind of lean more into veganism and make it one of the staples of his sort of awards of green economy? I mean, do you think that veganism poses a threat to farmers like you?
Not really, no. They're about 3% of the population. And we can see a lot of the businesses dropping off a cliff. Just look at some of the the shares in things like Beyond Meat and oat milk or Oatly, whatever they are. Yeah, it's a joke. People are starting to find the truth about all this processed rubbish, and it's real food, balanced food, eat local, eat seasonal, sustainable, and food that's produced in a regenerative way. It's easy.
Now, you're talking about some of those processed companies. We've talked about it on the show before, the vegan bubble, whether or not it's bursting, companies like Beyond Meat, Oatly, other companies like that. But there's other ways to be vegan, aren't there? You don't have to eat the processed stuff. You can eat just some soybeans and some carrots if you want to.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Carry on. But they will need a farmer every day. Every vegan will need a farmer, doesn't matter what your diet is, you are going to need a farmer. I think we have to look at where we live, our climate. We've got a great temperate climate in this country, and we've got a lot of marginal land, which is great for growing grass to produce fantastic protein that comes from beef and lamb. And that's the sensible option. We're hunter-gatherers. We have been since day dot. And you know what? If you want to be vegan, if you want to be vegetarian, pescatarian, flexitarian, carnivore, that's a personal choice. I will never, ever take that away from anybody. But don't mislead people to believe that you're going to save the planet on a vegan diet, because that's rubbish. And I will tell you, as a farmer that grows the majority of the food to feed my family, I know that a lot more creatures will die for me to get my veg and salad on my plate than me to get my meat.
Why is that? Why will more creatures die, Gareth, in your mind?
Well, how much of your own food have you ever grown?
Very, very little. I grow tomatoes and chilies in my garden.
Exactly, and that's the reason why. So every time we're growing our carrots, our peas, we'll have to protect them from our squirrels, our mice, the insect life. There will be thousands of creatures dying for us to get the veg and to get the salads onto our plates. But you kill one cow, and that will feed many families for many months. So the best ethical way, to be vegan is to kill a cow, eat a plant-based diet. Let me finish. Eat a plant-based diet, because that cow has eaten nothing but grass, and stick it in your freezer, and that will have the less death toll than you can ever have with anything else.
Astonishing statement there. I want to come to our boys in the studio to respond on that. Henry and Ian, the BOSH boys. You're listening to that there. We're hunter-gatherers. I must disclose I'm a meat eater. I'm happy to eat vegan and vegetarian food as well, but I am a carnivore as well. Killing a cow, kinda. What do you make of that?
I mean, I think we heard a load of anecdotes there. So it's great to hear from a farmer, and you're right, every vegan does need a farmer. And of course, like even Ian's family were farmers, so we don't necessarily have anything against farmers. But the problem is when you don't look at the science, and you can say, you know, these random statistics like kill a cow, that will feed a family. But the reality is your farm can't feed the United Kingdom, and farms like yours can't feed the United Kingdom. And in fact, if we expand that out to think about the world, if we want to keep eating meat at the rate we're eating meat today, we will need 1.7 planets by 2050. There just isn't enough land for our current appetite to meet. So we are urging people to eat more plant-based proteins. It's a great technology. It's not dying in any way, shape or form. In fact, it's growing. It's kind of weird to just pull one company's sales and use that to say that the market has died. And we should all realise this is a wonderful new technology, and protein can come from plants as well as from animals.
Anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, basically, my grandfather was a farmer, and I recognise that he was arguably the hardest working person that I have ever had the fortune of coming into contact with. And you're right, we do need farmers, absolutely. And our argument isn't with the smaller farmers in Wales who are doing like organically raised beef and lamb. Our real issue is with massive factory farms that are basically just churning out animals at an unsustainable level and destroying everything in their path. Like, that is something that I think we can all agree on is just completely wrong.
But also, what was just mentioned is the fact that, you know, the United Kingdom is a temperate climate, but we should all be aware that we've got a climate emergency going on right now. We're looking at 1 degree of warming, 2 degrees of warming, 3 degrees of warming. You know, we're not far off. We're getting 40 degrees happening in summer. We're not far off moving towards a more Mediterranean climate. And you might find, rather than vegans being a threat to your farms, we might actually find that, you know, the climate is going to be a problem, whether it's wildfires, whether it's different crops won't grow on your lands, you won't be able to raise sheep because it's too warm. You're actually probably going to struggle more from the climate than from vegans.
Given the rather damp squib of a summer we've had this year, a lot of people saying, what climate emergency? But of course, there are shores other than the United Kingdom. In South America, they clear swathes of forests to feed cows. You know, that is one of the claims about why we should move away from farming. Gareth, I want to come back to you because you said you didn't feel threatened by vegans because they represent such a small proportion of sales and of food and farming in this country. But at the same time, it seems like you really don't like them.
No, I've got to agree with the vegan in the middle. Sorry, I'm not sure what your name is, but, you know, I agree with you. Cheap food comes at a price. So cheap food comes at a price to the environment, it comes at a price to the animal, and it comes at a price to the farmer. So we need to address that. 1/3 of the food we're producing in this country goes into landfill. So we need to address that. You know, I'm not saying that we're perfect by a long way, but we need to be working together. We need to look at ways to find regenerative answers to food production. We need to be look at seasonality. You know, I love it. You know, follow my page. There's 1 million people on social media that follow me every day. I've got 790,000 followers on YouTube. So, you know, I'm a bit of a guy on social media as well. Most probably you've never heard of me, but you know, I do.
Gareth Wyn Jones on social media. If you want to look him up, come on, let's have a YouTube off then, guys.
What's the nation's most popular farmer? We heard.
Well, I've been called other things, but that's maybe coming from other.
So we thought that was Jeremy Clarkson.
hey, everybody's got a favourite farmer. That's up to them. Jeremy's done his thing, but you know, he's a newbie into the farming community, and he's doing a great job, fantastic job. You know, so is Caleb. But I'm trying to tell you, I've had 375 years of history on this farm. You know, I love what I do. And you boys want to come up, I'll show you. I had Tim Sheaf up here many years ago with Countryfile. I took him onto this farm. He was a vegan free runner. I took him onto the mountain. I explained to him how I grow my own food. You know, I've got a little veg pot just behind me here. I've got my own polytunnel. I am trying to be as self-sustained as possible. I even produce my own cider. You know, I'm trying to bring things back to normality so people can enjoy food. And I don't care what your diet is. If people think I hate vegans, that's rubbish. But what I do hate is the misleading propaganda. We need to work together, boys. We need to bring that collective together. And we can eat meat. We can do it in a regenerative and sustainable way. And we need these ruminants to produce the fantastic soil to grow your vegetables as well. So we need to work together. And
So obviously we're not farmers, but we do understand, and you know, we want to work together, and we want to find the right answer for the United Kingdom. I guess one of the things we don't want to miss though is the science. And if you look at Joseph Paul's study at Oxford University, you do see that regardless of where the meat was farmed, it is more polluting, it gives off more CO2 than any plant food. And we've just got to bear that in mind. So we're not urging everyone to go vegan, but we are urging everybody to understand the truth that if you are eating meat, it is going to be a more polluting choice, which you are free to make.
Gareth, you can quickly give a response. We're running short of time. Go on.
Listen, you're misleading people. It's a cycle, okay?
It's Oxford University study.
No. Listen, Oxford University can stick
So Oxford University are misleading people.
Oxford University can put their studies up their backside, because I have understood a lot more about that carbon cycle and what it's done. And, you know, have a look at what the Bannerman Project's doing down in Cornwall. They're catching the methane from cows' poo and they're putting it into a tractor. They are going off-grid by using that methane. There's a lot of technology out there that Oxford University, it depends who pays the bills and who is putting money into that research. Look, I'm a farmer. I've got money in this game. I want my children to do what I'm doing for the next generation. I'm not disputing that there's problems, but Oxford University have got this wrong. Livestock and farmers are part of the solution. And if we don't work together, and if you keep pointing fingers, we are going to be sleepwalking into food shortages. You are going to need a farmer every single day of your life. Doesn't matter where you live in the world.
You had your chance to rebut that there, the Oxford University report. Guys, look, it's been great having you all on. And we've heard about Gareth's YouTube channel. You've got a YouTube channel too, the BOSH Boys. They've got a book out today as well, BOSH Meat. There you go, it's a bit of a plug for you. And thank you all very much for coming in for that debate.